It was first negotiation of our life. Both of us were computer science people, so engineers are introverted. We were like that. I'm talking now over here very fluently, and seems like Aman has always been an extroverted person. No, I was someone who used to work on my laptop, don't disturb me, don't talk to me kind of person. The profession of being an entrepreneur, that changed my personality, you can say, right?
Every single day, companies around the world have millions of conversations with their customers, some on the phone, some over email, and some through chatbots in today's world. It's a constant stream of data, a potential treasure trove of insights, feedback, and opportunities. But for most, is this noise, a black box of unstructured data they can't really use. What if AI could help you listen to all of it? What if it could understand the nuance, the intent, and the emotion in every single interaction and help you understand your customer's expectation a little bit better and truly improve your customer's experience? Welcome to today's episode of AI's Happy Hour. We are talking to a founder who has already completed the startup dream once, building and selling his first AI company, Cogno AI, right after graduating from IIT Bombay. And now he's back with GreyLabs to tackle that even bigger challenge of decoding conversations at scale. He's a brilliant builder, a very sharp thinker, and someone who truly understands how to create value from the ground up. Aman, it's a huge pleasure to have you on the show with me.
Thank you, Sujit. Pleasure is mine.
And I'm telling you, I was just getting started, frankly, especially the pre-recording conversation that we were having. It definitely gave me goosebumps because I suddenly found there's going to be a bunch of insightful nuggets that I'll be able to surface for our listeners in this episode. And Aman, you have charted some interesting pathways as an entrepreneur, and I wanted to really start there. Let's start with your partnership with your co-founder, who also happens to be your life partner now, which was interesting, Harshita Srivastava. And that started with you both building Cogno AI with a very distinct customer first, not investor first philosophy, bootstrapping it to a multi-million dollar exit. In a world, frankly, where most of us are running around funding rounds and focused there, are often, and that is often seen as the primary milestone as a startup. What is the core belief that drove you to chase customers instead of actually investors, and how has that discipline shaped you as a founder and how you built your businesses?
So, Sujit, prior to starting the company, let me take you back on how exactly my dream of becoming an entrepreneur started, right? So, like any other
Sure.
IITian, I was also in the rat race of going to the US, working for a large tech company there, settling, getting the H-1B visa, right? 2016 summer, right after I completed my third year of college, I got a chance to intern at a US-based startup called Rubrik. They recently got listed in the stock markets as well. They were in the cloud backup and recovery space. So
Right.
I did a fantastic internship there. At that time, I was getting paid like something like $8,000 a month, one of the highest stipends. So it was like a dream internship, but spending 3 months in Palo Alto in the Bay Area, I felt a bit lonely. I'm more of a person, who wants to talk to people after 7 o'clock in the night. I want my family, I want my parents around. So I felt
I
a
like
bit
that.
lonely in the Bay Area. It's more of a personal choice. Uh, After that, I decided that I will move back to India after my internship and do something of my own within the country itself rather than going to the US. I was not very excited about working at some company in India. And fortunately, entire fourth year of college was left as free time for me. Right, I had already completed most of my courses. There was 1 year left, and I had a pre-placement offer. I did not have to sit for masters or GRE preparation because I did not want to go to the US.
Yes.
And in my college in computer science department, undergrad project was also optional. So practically seventh and eighth semester, 1 year, it was left for me to explore myself. And best part is you can fail at this time and not be judged by the society because you're still a student, still in college. So that's when I
Correct.
decided to get into entrepreneurship. Every college today, and even at that time, every college has a school of entrepreneurship or entrepreneurship cell or an incubation cell. IIT Bombay has gone a step ahead. They have started Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship, which is funded by Mr. Bharat Desai. I think he is, if I'm not wrong, 1975 batch alum, who sold
Yes.
his company for several billions of dollars and now is giving back to the institute via this School of Entrepreneurship. So I took some courses in the final year of college in the School of Entrepreneurship as a part of my institute electives. So in the final year, you're
Cool.
allowed to choose the courses you want to take, and you can tag them, and they will be counted in your grade point. As well as you can take up courses. You have more flexibility. You can go beyond your core department. For me, it was computer science. So, and the professors in School of Entrepreneurship, they are not proper academicians. They are industry veterans. So, like I mentioned, right, Professor Bharat Desai, he
Right.
was an entrepreneur. Then there is Professor Raj Jaswa. He's also from some similar batch, I think 75 batch, and he has two of the companies which he co-founded, which are listed in the US stock market. So it was pretty exciting because they did not have pen paper exam. Their premise was very simple: find the problem statement, try and build a solution, and go build a company out of it. That was the assignment, literally. So for me,
Awesome.
it
Okay.
was a dream come true where I'm getting grade points and I'm doing the thing which I enjoy, which I want to, I wanted to build something of my own. So that's how my entrepreneurship journey started. In the eighth semester, one of the courses I took was under Professor Devdeep Purkayastha. He was the VP of DHL South Asia. Yeah, he's, I think, from
Okay.
1985 batch IIT Kharagpur Alam and 87 batch IIM
Okay.
Calcutta. So proper, much older than me. His experience was more than my age. And he was very excited, very enthusiastic person even at that age, right? So in his course, the, the most interesting part was the premise that you have to sell before you write code. As engineers, we are very biased towards writing code. It's very easy. You start
Correct.
writing code, you feel there is a progress that is happening, but the reality is no one wants your software. First, you need to validate. You sell a concept via minimum viable product. That minimum viable product could be a presentation, a landing page of the website, or a video. That's how this whole thing started. And Devdeep sir was the one who imbibed the right kind of mindset for me, where he used to always tell me, Aman, always think customer first. If you have customers, if you have paying customers who are giving you their precious money, investors will chase you. And I came from a very clean slate, typical software engineering undergrad who is clueless about entrepreneurship. So that learning got imbibed in me because I did not have to unlearn anything. There was nothing to unlearn except for the fact that I need to stop writing code and talk to customers. The whole venture capital game was very new and less mature at that time compared to what it is today. So I did not have
Cool.
to unlearn anything. And I fortunately was able to learn from scratch that I need to focus on customers. So in my first startup, we never chased any investors. Even today, in my current venture, GreyLabs.AI, we'll talk about it. We raised some money, but we never chased any investor. We always were very focused on finding the customers, solving their problem, getting revenue out of them. So that's how the seeds of customer first mindset, they were sown in the founder's mind and my mind, and that got percolated as the DNA of the company. Always chase customers, investors will follow you.
That is awesome. But it does take a lot of discipline, by the way, to be able to follow that route. Uh, and I'm sorry to not have been an easy pathway. And were there any lessons that you learned along the way, as in especially when saying that be customer first is easy, but when you suddenly start going with your idea or concept of the product into the market and you start speaking to customers, I'm sure you suddenly realize the friction when the rubber meets the road really can be challenging. And then do you have any insights on how did you ensure that you did not get probably disillusioned with this whole idea that, hey, let me just focus on the customer and everything else will follow?
So Sujit, touchwood, we were a little lucky because I believe success is always a combination of hard work as well as luck. Our very first contract was with State Bank of India, and it was a 75 lakh rupees contract. Me and my co-founder. So prior to Harshita, I had a co-founder from college with whom I started the company. Both of us were 21 years old, straight out of college, and in fact, we were not even out of college. We were still in the eighth semester. This is February 2017 when our last semester was going on. We cracked the 75 lakhs contract from the largest bank of the country, and that was enough money for us to bootstrap the company, right? It's practically 100,000 USD, which is like just enough amount of money that people used to raise as seed round at that time, back in 2000. Now the seed rounds have become much larger, millions of dollars, pre-seed and seed,
Mm.
of course. But at that time,
Right.
100K for us was good enough to pay the rent, to rent a house, to have food, to travel, to build a software. And both of us were programmers, so we did not have to hire expensive software engineers at that time. We were the expensive software engineers for the company, right? So,
Right.
we honestly did not have that challenge of, uh, and plus now the venture capital ecosystem has matured a lot more in the country, where the investors are also looking for much younger founders straight out of college. At that time, funding at the college level was almost unheard of. This I'm talking 8 years back in 2017.
Correct. So I will double click. You mentioned that both of you were programmers, so obviously you didn't have to go and hire anyone to program or build the product in terms of the software code. But selling is a different animal and beast altogether. A programmer trying to go and sell, and as a 21-year-old trying to go and sell to a large enterprise like SBI, what were your lessons from that? Wasn't it intimidating and overwhelming? As in, will you be able to crack it? Or was it just that this is youth exuberance? I will go and try my luck. If it happens, it happens. Otherwise, I will try and look somewhere else.
So there is a little bit of backstory. So what happened was our professor Devdeep, right? He was very kind and helpful because he saw the enthusiasm in the two of us, me and my co-founder, and he saw that these guys are serious. My co-founder was Gujarati, I'm a Marwadi. We have to do business, right? It's not doing business is not an option for us. But jokes aside, as a part of the course, we started building a product which is like a assistant for parents and elderly people so that they can book flight tickets or they can order a cab or order food from Swiggy or something from Amazon without having to rely on me as their child, right? My parents are they are 60 plus and they have to call me for any kind of help with all these digital platforms. There is always an issue, a fear about making the payment via credit card or a UPI where there is a fear that if something goes wrong and you are defrauded, right? So all those challenges happen.
Correct.
So that's why we were trying to build something around that. Our professors told that if you are building something like this, why don't you build it for a company which has already acquired a massive customer base? Because otherwise, if you are a B2C company, you will have to spend a lot of capital on acquiring your users, making them aware of the product. Instead, go and meet some of these companies. So we said, look, we are young people, we don't know any of these companies. Why don't you help us? So one of his friends was working at Yes Bank. He introduced us to him. We just met and got some funding. HDFC Bank at that time had launched a physical robot in their Kamla Mills branch in South Bombay, Lower Parel. So we went to the branch and we told that we are academicians and researchers from IIT Bombay and we would love to meet the team behind this project. So the college ID card is really the most powerful tool because you don't talk about I am a salesperson, I am an entrepreneur. You just say I am a researcher from IIT Bombay and touch wood, the brand name of the college is supportive enough where people will give you half
Yeah.
an hour of their time. So we met the team behind
Correct.
the project, the digital banking team of the bank. We had some discussions with them about what they are looking for. So that's how some interactions with these large corporates started, which I talked about. They also have an incubation cell, and the incubation
Mhm.
cell has an MOU with State Bank of India. MOU is Memorandum of Understanding with State Bank of India, where
Nice.
we were
Okay.
allowed to pitch our product to SBI leadership. We showed them our offering in terms of a chat-based interface. So they told us, ki, go and incorporate a company and then come back because we can't work with two individuals, right? Two college kids. So we incorporated a private limited. This is again final year of college, last semester going on. After about a month, the company got incorporated. We went back to SBI. So what happened was they had forgotten about us and we were chasing the deadline. Both of us had handsome job offers in the US and India, and our joining dates were coming. And we realized we don't have any more time to pursue any other customer. State Bank of
Mhm.
India liked our early version, the video that we showed them, the concept. They liked it and they showed interest. They got us to incorporate a company. Now they don't have an option to, turn us down. So we begged to their department general manager. We begged to the junior people in his team to please give us one opportunity. So they had their foundation day coming in the first week of July that year. It happens every year, but
Uh-huh.
1st of July is the date. And they said, look, we want to launch a chatbot solution and we have 3 months, barely 2, 3 months of time. And we don't want to go through a formal process of onboarding a large corporate and then they will take their own time, right? It's a large process. You guys give us a reasonable
Correct.
quote and we will onboard you guys for chatbot product and you launch it on our foundation day. So that's how our
Wow.
journey started. They said, first you show us a proof of concept. We don't want your video, we want a working prototype. So both of us were programmers. We tied up some open source tools together, showed it to them, and they really liked it. It was, technical part was always easy for us. Both of us, IIT Bombay Com Science, we had done a lot of courses, and both of us were, we carried that mindset of putting things together quickly to create a project which kind of is liked by the other people. So we were able to do that, and they, I think more than our software, which was still in early stage, they liked the fact that we had the willingness to work with them. We were fighting. We will do whatever you say. Please work with us. We had that willingness and enthusiasm. So they gave us
Right.
an opportunity. We went through rigorous negotiation. If I talk about it, it's a whole story. But let's say the person negotiating, his experience was more than me and my co-founder's age combined. So
Combined.
we went through those kind of negotiations from their. So they have something called as TPNC, Technical Price Negotiation Committee, where one general manager and six department general managers, they come and negotiate. And it was first negotiation of our life. Both of us were computer science people, so engineers are introverted. We were like that.
Right.
I'm talking
Right.
now over here very fluently, and seems like Aman has always been an extroverted person. No, I was someone who used to work on my laptop, don't disturb me, don't talk to me kind of person. The profession of being an entrepreneur, that changed my personality, you can say, right? So that's how we started. Then we went live with State Bank of India towards the end of June for a chat widget on their website. That was the starting contract. It was tough. In the process, my co-founder's grandmother expired. He had to travel to his hometown. I was all alone negotiating with the State Bank stakeholders. It was fun. It was a great learning activity. But what happened was we got the very first contract from the largest bank of the country. So we had that confidence that now we can do a lot more with a lot of other companies, because you crack the toughest one, then the rest of it is much easier. And SBI, they supported us. They, of course, by negotiating with us, they are doing the right thing for their company. They are paid ultimately to get the best deal for the bank. They negotiated with us, they
Correct.
got the best deal. But one thing they did was they floated our names to the State Bank group companies, saying that we have onboarded this vendor as a service provider for chat interface. So SBI Life had onboarded us soon after that. SBI Mutual Fund onboarded
Awesome.
us soon after that. So the effort at State Bank paid off across three customers. So that's how we started.
Amazing. I think great learning, right? Especially selling to a large enterprise, but initially can be challenging. But once you make a breakthrough, it can actually open up floodgates for you. And I think I'm seeing more and more acceptance within the enterprise ecosystem in India, where they are happy to support startups with great products that they're building out that can be relevant and useful for their core businesses. I want to double click and come to the co-founder and founder relationship, right? Because that is super critical, and it was very evident as you were telling the story of how you started your initial success with your initial founder. Now, with Harshita, you built two successful high-tech companies, and as in including Grey Labs, who also happens to be a life partner now. And this relationship is critical, but at the same time can have a lot of tension, and
Right.
which is very, very natural. How do you two really divide and conquer, and what's the dynamic that makes this partnership so effective, especially in this high stakes world where everything is running at such a super fast pace? You will have so much going on in your personal space too. How do you really manage that equation?
So, Sujit, I think the learnings go back to when my co-founder decided to quit, my previous co-founder from college. So both of us
Okay.
were good friends. After about a year, what happened was we had onboarded a few clients, but it was becoming more of a service-heavy kind of offering rather than a productized offering. And I came
Hmm.
from a small middle-class family, so for me, State Bank contract was like 10 times my father's annual earnings. He came from a much wealthier family. For him, it was a big downgrade and maybe a tenth of his father's annual earnings, right? So
Hmm.
after a year, he decided to move out, and that's when Harshita was at Citibank. She graduated from IIT Kanpur, same batch, 2017, and she had joined Citibank as a software engineer in the compliance function in Pune office. And when
Okay.
Soham, my previous co-founder, Soham and I were running the business, she also got very excited. So she was deciding to quit her job and pursue something else, maybe as an entrepreneur, maybe something else. So when my co-founder left, I called her up and I said, look, this is what has happened. He has moved out. There is enough opportunity if we start working together. If dedicated co-founders, they start collaborating properly, a large business can be built over here, large enough to pay bills and get us financially free. I did not oversell it to her that it will be $1 billion business, but good enough for us to never have to worry about money in our lives in future ever again. So it took a lot of convincing, but then she put her papers down at Citibank and decided to join me as a co-founder. And so my previous co-founder and I both were meeting the customers, both were writing code, and customers knew both of us, right? Me and Soham, they had
Hmm.
seen our face. With Harshada coming
Correct.
in, suddenly there is a third person. So I told her that, look, here is what we do. You sit down in the office, work with the developers, and develop the product. Customers already know me. I don't want to place you in front of them as a new person. I will go and be on the field. I will meet customers. I will spend time in the office of the banks, right? So that's
Hmm.
how the genesis, the roots of a segregation of roles and responsibilities started. I mean, we all know, right?
Right.
A great co-founder
Correct.
relationship is where you have clear boundaries, clear responsibilities, yet common vision.
Absolutely.
So the common vision was
Correct.
to make money, build a venture, build a name for yourself. Segregation of responsibilities where you can start to see that she was the one who was building, I was the one who was selling. That's how we started. So that really
Awesome.
changed
Okay.
the game for us. I used to spend a lot of time with the customers. Every day I used to go to BKC, BKC Bandra Kurla complex area in Mumbai. You would be aware, right? It's the financial
Yeah.
hub. We had one of our customers, ICICI Bank. I used to spend so much time in their office that their security guard, she knew my laptop serial number. Every time in their entry, you have to register your laptop serial number. She had memorized it. At that time, UPI was newly launched, and ICICI Bank, being at the forefront of the UPI revolution, they had mandated that in their canteen, no cash and no cards will be accepted, only UPI. So UPI payments used to fail. The canteen guy used to tell me कि sir आप तो रोज आते हो आप कल payment कर देना कोई बात नहीं, right? Because he knew me. I was a vendor, I was a service provider, but I showed up every single day. So, and at the same time, Harshita was sitting in the office talking to our existing customers, State Bank, SBI Life, making sure that the product is delivered as per what they want, co-creating the product with them. So that segregation of responsibility, we started back in 2018, right, when my previous co-founder left, and that paid off really well. Till date, we have clear responsibilities. Even, in fact, we have put the learnings of business in our personal life. In our personal life, we don't look at ki I am a male, you are a female, I should handle finances and you should handle household. No. Both of us,
Very cool.
we run our household like a company. Ki you may not like your work, I may not like your work, doesn't matter. We have our roles and responsibilities. You do this, I will do this. I may not like it, but then I know you don't like it more than me, so I will take care of it. Or if I like something, I'm up for it. Like she hates all the taxation, finance, income tax filing, sending bank statement. So I have created a Python script which pulls all the bank statements from her email and sends it to my chartered accountant. She hates it. I
Okay.
also hate it, but I know she hates it more than me. So I take care of it for her. So that's how we have done. So there are similar other things which she knows I hate it more than what she does. So she takes care of it for me. So we don't let any ego come into picture where why am I doing this? Why are you doing this? We try to run it very efficiently. Same thing on the company side. Anything on product, it's her decision. I can give hundreds of my opinion. Ultimately, she has the veto right. Anything on the customer side, on the GTM side, she can give her inputs and feedback, but ultimately it's my decision. I have the veto power. If it is right, we both make money. If it is wrong, we both lose money, but then we are in this shit together. That's the philosophy behind how to segregate and work together.
I love this. I said I love the insights that you shared and the experience. let's let's take it to this whole thing as in the first milestone of the founder partnership with Harshita obviously resulted in the M&A with Exotel, and I'm sure mergers and acquisitions are a very interesting phase or journey when two organizations are trying to come together. Um, what are some of your insights that you gathered that you think will be useful to the audience to understand when you are preparing for M&A, when you're trying to make choices of the right partner? Is there anything that you would want to do differently as you're building out Grey Labs, and probably you would also look at opportunities where there could be an M&A opportunity with Grey Labs too. So are there some learnings from there that you're actually inculcating on how you've been building the business grounds up?
So there is a lot I can share about it, but let me try and consolidate. Uh, the very first thing is startups are never sold; they are almost always bought.
Or
So if you are going out to sell your venture, saying ki I am listed for sale, you are bound to be lowballed on price. You are bound to be not getting a great offer. The best startups are bought when they are not in the mode of selling, when they are more in the mode of building. They are given an incredibly good offer, and the founder decides to sell. That's what happened with us. We were least interested. So actually, we had thought about selling the startup at some point in time, right? When we started, when Harshita and I started, we said, look, this is not a very big opportunity. Let's bootstrap it. It can be a good profitable business. At some point in time, we can sell it off, make money, and then we can think of something bigger. But what happened was our revenues in 2018, right, FY 2019, which is the year in which Harshita joined, were roughly 75 lakhs. And in 2 years, we 10x our revenue. We were at over 7.25
awesome.
crores of revenue in the year ending March 2021. And we were profitable. We were doing crazy 40% profit at that time. And two of us owned pretty much the entire company. Uh,
Awesome.
so,
Mhm.
so there was no reason to sell. It's a great profitable business. Why not take it to 10, 15, 20, 30 crores of revenue? But what happened was we were in that attractive range of $1 million revenue, which kind of shows that you have a product market fit. So you are not, you have, you have proven something, but then you are not very expensive because if you cross $5, $10 million revenue, suddenly your price tag goes up dramatically. So we were
Correct.
attractive towards such funded companies for an acquisition. So that's where Exotel approached us. We were approached by other companies as well. And in 2021, if you remember, there was a lot of money in the market. Investors were pouring in
Correct.
capital
Oh
left,
yeah.
right, and center. So Exotel raised four
True.
rounds of funding in about a year. This is public information. So they had about a 40 crore rupees Series A, 45 crore rupees Series B, $35 million, which is roughly 250 crore Series C, and then $40 million, which is roughly 300 crore Series D. So they raised a lot of capital in about a year. They had money. They had approached us multiple times. We said we are not interested in selling. At some point in time, I think they got frustrated and they said, "Why don't you put a number? Uh, why don't you put a
Hmm.
price tag at what price you will sell?"
Hmm.
So Harshita and I, we were connected over a call. We had a call with them in 10 minutes. She was in Kanpur in our hometown because it was COVID time, COVID second wave. It had just ended. And because COVID wave had ended, I had gone to one of my cousin's house and we both were connected and we are like, we don't have to sell. And let's just quote a random number. If they agree, they agree. If they don't agree, anyway, we don't have to sell. So both of us had a number in mind wherein if we earn that much money, then we are financially free. That was the idea, the fire number as you call it today. We had our own fire
Correct.
number in mind. We got in a meeting with them and just 5 minutes prior to meeting, I told Harshita, I will double this number and quote it. I'm pretty sure they will not agree, but let's see. And luck was in our favor. We quoted the number and they agreed. We were very shocked. We could not believe. Over the weekend, they asked us for some financials. I think Monday next week they made an offer, and in another 2 days we had a term sheet. So
Wow.
it was very surprising. But then, as I said, we were not listed for a sale. It was just in the heat of the moment it happened, and it was a great outcome for us. It was, I'm sure, a great outcome for them as well. So that's the biggest learning. Never be listed for sale. Always be focused on building the customer. Nobody wants to buy a struggling startup. Number two, keep your books and finances in order. So my CA always used to tell me that you will build a big company, you will be a big entrepreneur. Don't do stupid things on your books where you are mixing your personal expenses with company expenses, or you are putting petty random expenses in the books of the company, or drawing cash and doing wrong things. So we were so rigid with our books and accounts that even a 10 rupee invoice, 10 rupee expense, we will have an invoice. In 30 seconds,
Wow.
pick
Okay.
any bank statement entry. In 30 seconds, I can get you invoice, howsoever small the entry is. That was the level of detailing we maintained because Exotel had appointed Deloitte for doing a due diligence of our company. Even the Deloitte guy told me that I have done so many due diligence, but for companies, smaller companies which are in 5 to 10 crore or less than 10 crore revenue stage, their books are all messed up. But I am very surprised that you guys have maintained books very professionally. Even GreyLabs is almost 2 years old now, not slightly less than 2 years old. There is not even a 10 rupee of cash withdrawal from the company bank account. We have maintained it so professionally. Every single expense, every single
Love
revenue, we
that.
have a proper. So if you make sure you do the right thing for the business, have books and accounts in order, for people who are big, for acquirers who is run by professional investors, professional auditors and board and directors and founders, that gives them more excitement. It gives them confidence that you have not done anything shady in the books. So having that in order. And third and most importantly, being exceptionally strong either in product or in technology or in the market hold. So we had more than 50 BFSI clients when we were acquired. We had State Bank, Kotak, ICICI, HDFC, Aditya Birla, Bajaj, Axis, IDFC. So we had cornered the India financial services market. The ticket size was small, and so the revenue was not like hundreds of crores or hundreds of millions of dollars. But then we were onboarded vendor of every single institution. We had our foot in the door, which means Exotel could go and cross sell their products to these customers very easily. That was the
Correct.
idea.
Awesome. And I love some of the valuable lessons that you've shared. And I'm sure you've brought those lessons into how you are building and solving even a bigger problem with Grey Labs, right? So let's get our attention and focus on Grey Labs. And let's see if we can make this really real for our audience, right? Paint a picture for us, frankly. And I want to double click on the problem statement. Now, a large bank, and that's been the space that you've largely operated in even in the previous stint, has thousands of agents, okay, who are having conversations with customers and millions of these customer conversations, calls, emails, etc. Uh, Before Grey Labs, their quality team might manually listen to few of these calls. I have got a number of 2%. What are they missing in the other 98%? And what's the first thing you show uh, as Grey Labs to a customer that delivers that aha moment to your customers?
Sure. So, Sujit, 2% in fact is on the higher side. Most companies don't even have 0.5% of calls audited because who cares, right? So I'll explain you how this
Wow.
problem statement started. We went back to after when we wanted to start GreyLabs.AI, we spoke with some of these financial institutions to learn about the problem statements they have, right? People told us that they want to improve the productivity of field agents. That's how it all started. So
Okay.
it originally it was not call center agent, it was field agent. So
Okay.
we spent time with some of the field agents of a bank and we went with them to the end customer's house, right? Field agents, they do house visits for collecting documents, for KYC, for pitching a product, for getting signatures on a form. So we realized that they make a lot of mistakes. They will give same time to two different customers and both come shouting on them. They're not able to locate the address. They are pitching the wrong product. They're not explaining correct benefits of the product. They are not following up on time. That's how this whole thing started. We made a quick
Mm.
prototype where, all these things are there. Let's say I'm visiting somewhere near your house or somewhere at your house to collect documents. An app can show me other customers near your location so that I can save my time. I can go and call these people. Yeah, I'm already in your area. Can I meet and collect your documents? One of the features was that when I'm pitching the product to you, I can record the conversation with a mobile app. And at the
Okay.
end of the conversation, it will show me how I pitched, what are the areas of improvement, feedback, what product could I have pitched instead of, pitching the product that I talked about. So when we showed this whole prototype to some of these banks, insurance companies, they said, Aman, this one feature of call analysis, the conversation analysis is very interesting. Can you put this in our call
Uh-huh.
center? So I was a little
Okay.
surprised, but because they said we need efficiency of field agents, and now they are saying, can
Correct.
you put this in our call centers? So we spoke to more than 20 such companies in the market in a span of 15-20 days, and we got a consistent feedback that this is very interesting. Put this in our call center. So we said, wow, this is it. Let's start building it, right? So we
Mm.
partnered with a bank, we partnered with an NBFC, we partnered with a fintech. So one bank, one NBFC, one
Nice.
fintech, and we said, let's co-create the product with them. And that's how the
Awesome.
journey started. So they wanted, the first point was they wanted automatic call auditing, which is where, less than 0.5% calls are audited. It's a manual procedure. So I'll explain you the challenges. For every single language, English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, you have to have an auditor in place. You may have just 10 customers, but then you need to have an auditor who audits them. So hiring auditors
Wow.
becomes hard, and then hiring auditors in Telugu, Kannada, Marathi, Hindi, it becomes even more difficult problem. So that is point number one. Point number two, auditors themselves make a lot of mistakes. Who will audit the auditor? That's the second point. Third is that they audit a very tiny percentage of calls. So just I'll give you an example. I'm a telecaller. You audit. I do 1,000 calls in a month, and you audit 5 calls,
Mhm.
0.5%. You audit 5 calls or 10 calls of mine. It is unlikely you will find anything wrong because I may
True.
have made mistakes in the remaining 995 calls, right? So if you
Correct.
pick a random sample of 5 or 10 calls, the probability, if you do the math, the probability of you finding the wrong call where I missold something, where I misbehaved with a customer or something like that is very low. So that's
True.
that's what you are missing from a quality and compliance perspective. The risk you carry on those 995 calls which you are not auditing, where RBI can come behind you, where the customer can come behind you, that is something which you are missing. Number one. Number two, in a call, two people are talking, the agent and the customer. The entire audit piece is of the agent side. But what about the customer side? Imagine you make 1,000 calls. I'm an agent, I'm making 1,000 calls, or 100 agents are making 100 calls each, and let's say 10,000 calls are happening. There will be customers who wanted to buy, but agent could not explain them properly, or agent did not offer an
True.
attractive loan offer, because of which these customers are gone. If our software can scan through every single customer call recording and tell you that, look, Aman Goel could have bought the product, your agent screwed up, or the voice was not clear, agent could not explain, please call him again and convince him. So for
Wow.
that, you need a
Eh,
larger sample of auditing 100% of the call. So this is not audit, this is customer insight. Can we tell you that So, insurance is sold across 7, 8 calls on an average. It's a complicated product. From the
Correct.
first call, can I tell you that this customer is going to buy or this customer is not going to buy? Don't waste time on them, because you can avoid 7 other calls, right? 6 or 7 other calls if from the first call we tell you the propensity to purchase. So that's where GreyLabs AI comes in. It helps you get all the agents improvement, feedback, all the quality compliance parameters of the telecaller. And on the customer side, we give you insights about who is going to purchase, who is not going to purchase, what's the ticket size, which customer dropped off unreasonably and should be called and converted again. So that's where we get into picture.
And these are such important insight enabled inputs for a business to be able to make that difference, right? Because everyone's trying to figure out that additional inch that they can win in their top line or bottom line all the time. And this is interesting. In fact, I came across a post from one of your customers, and I think they are in the insurance space,
Yes.
who said that using your platform was really eye-opening. They could actually boost their call audit coverage from like 2% to over 50%. And the most important part, and this was pretty fascinating, right? They saw that you could help them both predict lead conversion as well as also auto-generate winning sales
Yes.
scripts, which is amazing. So I wanted to double click on a little bit under the hood right here, Aman, as in it seems as in using your solution, you actually don't just analyze the past data, but it also helps understand the future or what could you do next to be able to make that difference.
Yes.
How do you technically enable this journey from a historical analysis to predictive generative insights for your customers?
See, at a tech level, I'll explain in very simple terms. We have our own speech recognition engine which converts all these call recordings into a transcript. Right? What did the
Okay.
customer say? What did the agent say? The entire transcript along with proper timestamp and the text which has been spoken by both sides.
Hmm.
This transcript is fed into a large language model which has been trained for the financial services industry. So we have used some open
Awesome.
source LLMs and we have trained them very heavily on the BFSI, which is banking, financial services, insurance data stack, so that it can understand the terminology, the keywords, the language, the sentences much better. Right? So keywords like CIBIL score, a term plan, an insurance plan, endorsement of policy. These are not standard words which we use in our day-to-day life,
All right.
but these words are
Correct.
seen in the terminology of a financial services company. So the whole model has been trained. So first speech to transcript. So we extract all the parameters from this transcript. Did the agent authenticate the customer? Did they, understand their problem? Did they give a solution? Did they ask for feedback at the end of the call? All those things. And we also pull out hard properties from the sound. Was the agent very loud? Were they impolite? What was their tone? What was the sentiment of the customer? Was somebody being sarcastic on the call where they are making a polite statement, which the text is polite but the sound is not polite, right? So those kind of things, or let's say profanity detection. So properties from the sound itself and the properties from the transcript itself, those are extracted from the agent side, and similarly from the customer side, how engaged the customer was. Did they express the intent to purchase? Are they evaluating any other competitors of the company? All these parameters we show in a combined dashboard. So this is a technology behind the scenes what is happening, and of course it has to be very scalable because we process millions of call recordings every single day. There are a lot of these big enterprises. They have thousands of callers. Every single one of them makes 50 calls, 100 calls a day. So having that scalable infrastructure which can take care of the transcription at scale, the language model processing at scale, and right after the call, our software updates the CRM. So a summary of the call has to be updated in the CRM. If it's a support call, then the disposition of the call, which is a short, drop
Is
down
important.
selection, that has to be done, updated in the CRM. The sentiment needs to be tagged. Any callback which customer has asked for, that needs to be tagged. A ticket, if it is being created, that needs to be created. This has to be done within 30 seconds of call getting ended to save the agent's time. So our infra needs to be extremely scalable, extremely robust, and there is like practically no room of error. So that's the technology backbone.
Amazing. Because we are talking about BFSI and which has a bunch of unique complexities, right? The complex financial jargon that you touched upon, multilingual, different dialects in that, and then obviously there's strict compliance and data security rules, etc. What has been the single biggest challenge that you and team had to really solve in the way the solution was built when trying to address the unique context of Indian financial services?
I think handling the large volume of data which is being processed by our systems and handling it at very low latency and very high accuracy, right? That has been the biggest challenge. And I think we use Neysa's cloud for our entire LLM inferencing, where we have hosted our models. We have to make sure everything is resident within India. Data cannot go outside India as per RBI, SEBI, and IRDA regulations. So that's where the Neysa's cloud, which we use, it is hosted within Indian boundaries. It's highly scalable. We can set up clusters and GPUs in no time from the dashboard itself, so that uh, we can spin off more machines. So what happens is, let's say in some bank, mobile banking breaks down or some UPI system goes down, they have a call volume spike at their end. That leads to sudden spike in the volumes at our end, which means all of a sudden more call recordings are being processed, and we have to handle things in a more parallel and concurrent manner. So that requires
Right.
a ton of scalability of the backend solution, which is where we are using Neysa's cloud and have seen fantastic results. So that has been honestly our biggest bottleneck, making sure that LLM STT, which is language model and the speech recognition, the costs are affordable, the platform is scalable, the output is accurate. Having a combination of these three things coming together was the biggest challenge, which we are proud that we have solved it together.
Awesome. No, no, thank you. And thank you for the partnership, as in these complex problems are something that we would love to partner with partners like yourselves as we solve for the Indian market. I wanted to get a little bit of the customer perspective, right? This seemed like a problem that everyone had given up on, that we will never get insights out of customer conversations. And suddenly you're able to solve that with Grey Labs. Do you have a specific piece of feedback which was an insightful information that was surfaced because of the solution for this customer? They said, you know what, this is just amazing. I never knew this was happening in my business.
I can go on. I can talk a lot about it. It's the most interesting part of doing meetings with corporate executives on our customer side, right? So one of the banks, they were one of our early customers. So our insights of our product are shown in the board meeting of the bank every single month, and board meeting and customer service council meeting. So what happened was, it's a large private sector bank, one of our customers. I'll tell you some of the insights, right? So one very interesting insight we found was, many of the agents were deflecting the customer to branch, just to not get into hassle of raising a ticket and tracking it and all that. Customer calls for something, they will say, sir, go to the branch and your issue will be resolved. That is one very interesting thing. And there, we tracked it, we highlighted this, and now the branch visits have gone down dramatically from the call center deflection which was happening earlier. That's point number one. Point number two, this bank, they have a large business, which is credit card, and a small banking business. Now, which is like 80-20 split. 80% of the customers are of credit card, 20% are of the banking. So they have two separate call center numbers for credit card customer and for banking when I say savings account. So credit card
Okay.
customers is 80% separate contact customer support number, savings account 20% customer base, separate customer service number. On Google, if you search ABC Bank customer care number,
Mhm.
unfortunately, the banking customer service number was being shown up, which is just one fifth of their customer base. So
Customer base.
now every single credit card customer who's trying to call via Google search, they are first landing on the banking call center mobile number. They are explaining their problem. And at the end of 90 seconds of explaining the problem, agent is telling them, sir, you have called us on our banking customer care number. This is our credit card number. This is where you have to call. So we flagged
Wow.
this because this was happening on roughly 40% of their calls. So 90 seconds worth of average handling time, right? Agent time and customer time getting wasted on 40% of their customer base, purely because of this confusion. So we highlighted this,
Wow.
and now they have a unified single calling number. You call them, and then they authenticate you, and then
Choose.
the journey is much more smoother. Of course, it has done a significant cost reduction, but if you think about the customer experience, right? Customer is already irritated in the agony, and then after 90 seconds, you tell them, sir, please call this number. They will be even more frustrated. So the customer experience, the CSAT score has gone up. So apart from this, I mean, there are a bunch of insights. We figured out that some of their agents. So when an inbound call happens, uh, I am an agent. You ask me some issue which I don't know about. So rather than so they track hold times. Who is putting the call on hold for a longer time? Because I am putting a longer hold time, which means that I don't know something about that topic, and so I can be penalized. That why are you not aware of the topic if you went through the training process? So as an agent, what I do, easier thing for me, sir, I'm not able to look up your details in the system. Can you call back after 1 hour? A customer will say, fine, that no problem. After 1 hour you call, the
Correct.
call lands to some other telecaller because there are thousand others. So that's how, as an agent,
Correct.
I am avoiding calls where I don't know how to resolve the issue by making an excuse of technical issue in the system. So we flagged it out, and the corresponding agents were, they were coached, they were explained, and some of them were even removed. In one of the insurance companies, we found very interesting things. So they do a lot of renewal calling, policy renewal calling, and in fact they do a lot of retention calling where the policy due date has gone, customer has still not paid.
Uh-huh.
As a
Okay.
process, what they are supposed to do is that they are supposed to tell the customer, if customer says I have a financial issue, I had a job loss or a medical emergency and some unexpected expense, so as a telecaller, I'm supposed to give them an alternative payment plan, which means if they are on an annual plan of, let's say, 5,000 rupees a year, I will tell them, sir, I will put you on a monthly plan of 500 rupees a month for 3 months. So in one shot, you don't have to pay a large amount of 5,000 rupees. You pay 500 rupee plan so that your policy doesn't lapse and your premium paid so far doesn't go waste. So we figured out that 80% of their telecallers were not trying to retain the customers by proposing alternative plan. They were just canceling the
Wow.
policy.
Wow. It's just amazing. As in, if a business can get these insights on where these pieces are dropping, things that they could have just solved, as in,
Yes.
some of these are so simple to solve, actually,
Yes.
provided you know.
Correct.
Amazing. This is super insightful, Aman. I'm going to change track, as in we're going to go to a fun segment before we dive into more of the technicalities of the stack
Got
that GreyLabs really built. I will call this section knowing how Aman thinks inside his brain.
Okay.
Okay, so these are just quick questions. It's going to be a random mix of questions. If you're ready, let's get started. So the first one, and I picked this up while I was reading about you.
Okay.
You're actually famous for your input-output framework for productivity. Now, besides work, what is that one personal input? I don't know. It could be a book, a habit, or a podcast that gives you the highest output in your life.
I think spending time with my parents. So I have always been very close to my parents, and in 2021, after my startup got acquired, I got them shifted to Mumbai. It was a little difficult for them initially, but then I could not stay without them, and I could not build a professional career in a small town city like Kanpur to the aspiration level that I wanted. So I spend time with my mom. I spend time with my dad. I go out with them. I sit with them during my breakfast and dinner time. So I think that has been very high ROI activity for making sure that I'm happy in my life.
Oh, I absolutely love that, Aman. This is something that's very close to my heart too. I also managed to move my parents from down south in Kerala to Bombay.
Right.
It took them some adjustment, but trust me, it's great ROI. I
Yes.
completely agree. They love the fact that they got access to us. They got access to their grandkids, all of that. So beautiful.
Nice.
Okay, let's get into the second one. If Grey Labs had a personality or a persona, which celebrity would it be and why?
Yes. Celebrity is a hard question. I actually don't watch movies. So I don't know.
Maybe a character from books you read or anything that you follow.
Uh, See, I'm inspired more by entrepreneurs. I'm inspired by Mr. Mukesh Ambani. I'm inspired by, Elon Musk, what he's doing in the electric vehicle and space revolution. So maybe something like that. I think, what did you get done last week?
But why? As
Uh,
in,
so that is
okay,
something that I find pretty fascinating, right? Elon Musk, what did you get done last week? So I definitely ask this question to
last
my
week.
team members, where being more focused on what do you do for the customers? What did you get done last week? I think that's a personality. Maybe Elon Musk is the answer.
Very interesting. Okay, cool. I'll make a note of that too. Yeah, I did capture that about Elon Musk as in the statement and how he looks at
Yes,
driving everyone around a certain mission.
yes.
Okay, let's dive into the next one. If you could use AI to instantly solve one non-tech everyday problem in Mumbai, what would it be?
So in Mumbai, traffic problem, honestly, the way I've solved it is all meetings between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. only so that you avoid the traffic. My office is 10 minutes from my home. In personal life, I would want to suggest an interesting problem, slightly deviating from your question. आज खाने में क्या
Please.
बनाएं? That's a $1 million question. Every single day that question comes up. आज खाने में क्या बनाएं? If AI could solve this question by looking at past food, past menus, and keep suggesting my mom what the cook is supposed to cook, right? Because she's every day she's like, what do I cook? She asks me, she asks Harshita, she asks my dad, and then she instructs the cook, right? So somebody who can crack this will be a big hit in all the Indian households.
That's a great idea, by the way. Maybe someone can build that out. Maybe a student sitting out of IIT Bombay, when they hear it, they'll probably pick this up.
Yeah, I hope it's not a
Awesome.
deeply technical problem.
I don't think so, but it's a very interesting human problem.
Yeah,
हर रोज की problem है ये.
correct, correct.
Let's dive into the last one, right? Now, Sharad, who's the co-founder and CEO of Neysa, is also an alum of IIT Bombay and also an angel investor in Grey Labs. How did the two of you really meet, and what did really click for you, where you thought, okay, you know what, I would want to have Sharad on board too?
So, Matrix Partners, which is Z47, they are a common investor, right, in both the companies. I think Z47 did our seed round last year, and they also partnered with Neysa Networks last year with Sharad sir. So when we were doing our seed round, along that we had a pool for angel investors as well. And I was talking to Pranay. Pranay is the MD at Z47. He looks at all the SaaS companies, SaaS portfolio. So I was talking to him, can you tell me some good angel investors who I can get on board, who can help me, guide me in my times when I need help, right? Going beyond my investor network, having an advisory board. So that's when he mentioned Sharad sir's name very highly, and I spoke with Vikram, who is at Matrix, Z47 now, sorry, Vikram Vaidyanathan. He also spoke very highly of Sharad sir. I went to Sharad sir's office to meet him, and I was very inspired. We ended up chatting about a bunch of things, right? He's much older than me from IIT Bombay, I think 1989 batch, if I'm not wrong. I'm born in
Yes,
1995, so he graduated 6 years before I was born. But we ended up chatting a lot
correct.
about a lot of things, about the hostel, about the college, the campus, right? So I was pretty inspired by his journey of building NetMagic, selling it to NTT Data Corporation, and then starting Neysa Networks. So in the first half an hour itself, we gel very well. So, so that's why we decided to take some money from him. Money honestly was less important than the time, the expertise, the network he brings in, the credibility he brings in to the market. We have many common customers, right? We have a lot of BFSI companies as Neysa's customers and also our customers. So he has
Correct.
spent decades in the industry. People know him. When I take his name, it does bring credibility, especially in front of the CTOs. So that's how
Correct.
we came together. In fact, we had extended our seed round by a small amount to incorporate his check because the Z47 team and I were both clear we want him on board as our mentor, as our advisor in this journey.
Awesome. No, yeah, it's invaluable to get access to Sharad's
Yes,
experience. Plus one to that one.
yes,
Okay, let's get back to the engine room, okay, of Grey
sure.
Labs. Um, the problem that you're solving, okay, especially for banks, large banks, where 99.99% uptime and accuracy while analyzing their most sensitive data at massive scale, right? And you spoke about millions of minutes of audio, huge spiky data loads, etc. Super complex to really build for.
Yes.
What are some of the core pillars of the solution architecture, the way you built, that also incorporates partners like Neysa in the whole picture, right? Because how have you ensured that it can actually scale horizontally? Because this is also something that I picked up when we were having a pre-recording chat. And and if you could kind of simplify this even for our non-technical listeners, right? If you could break that down, that would be super helpful.
Yeah. So, see, in simple terms, there are components of our solution. One is the speech to text, which converts a call recording into transcript. Second is the large language model, which is, we all have heard of ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama, and a bunch of Anthropic, some of these names.
Correct?
So the language model, which takes text as input and gives an analysis or something as an output, some processing on that text as the output. And there are multimodal language models also. Multimodal means they can take image as input or a audio as input or a video as input, and then they can generate an image or a audio or video as an output, which means not going beyond text. So speech to text is the core component, and then there is language model. Uh, so if you go with some of these service providers like AWS, Azure, they are extremely expensive. GPUs are scarce. There is a shortage of GPUs. Plus, these companies charge a bomb. So for
Right.
us, making sure that our infra costs are low because right, AI costs are very high at this moment, and it impacts the
Correct.
gross margin of the company directly. If your technology stack is expensive, your gross margin goes down, and you have lesser room where you can put other costs to be able to offer better service to the customer, better support, and so on and so forth. So
Absolutely.
we had evaluated a bunch of AWS, Azure, and some of these cloud providers, and frankly, many of these companies they offer $100,000, $200,000 worth of GPU credits for free for startups like us to start off building with them. But very
Correct.
soon we realized that the costs are piling up like crazy. While the credits are the ones from which this cost is going away, but imagine when these credits of $100,000 are gone, that cost is going to come to our bank statement, right? It's going to come through our P&L, and it will make the
True.
business very unsustainable. Because and we were
Correct.
seeing the volumes of our customers exploding fast. We were acquiring customers fast. We were, many of our customers were expanding their existing volume. Somebody who has gone live with customer support call audit, they were looking at telesales call, EMI collections call analysis. So as the use cases were expanding, customer base was expanding, the volume within the same use case was expanding. We wanted a solution which can scale as good as AWS or any other provider, Azure or Google Cloud, but at the same time is cost effective. That's point number one. Point number two, again, in these companies, if you go for AWS Bedrock or Azure and all that, they have their standard set of language models which you can use. Now, the problem is in
Correct.
our industry, if you use standard language models which are very horizontal in nature, they will not give more accurate output for a vertical like financial services. And this
True.
quality of output is important for us because anything wrong in this output will lead to some ticket not being raised, some product not being sold. It directly impacts the revenue, it directly impacts the compliance of the organization. For us as an organization also, that's our important pitch to our customers that look, our language model is way better than these boilerplate standard language models which are being offered by 10 other competitors in the market. We are at least 15 to 20% more accurate when it comes to the financial services domain. So we wanted a platform where we have complete control of the training, the enhancement of the language model, right? So that was the second point. Third is we wanted to make sure that the entire data residency, data localization, all of that is taken care of because we don't want any data going outside India. That's against the regulation. Lastly, we wanted very high amount of scalability. So combining all these factors, we evaluated a few providers, and of course, Sharad sir was our angel investor, so we were fully aware of Neysa Networks. We spoke with Karan from your team. Sharad sir has, he had assigned Karan to work with us. So we went through some proof of concept. We took a look at the dashboard. We tried everything. I think they were kind enough to offer us the platform for some days on a trial credit model. So my engineering co-founder Shreyas, he did extensive evaluation, extensive load testing. We tried it with some of our customers, and then we got fantastic output. So, we want
Awesome.
convenience of setting up our language models quickly. We want, horizontal scalability, all the things I mentioned about being able to provide multilingual speech recognition, hosting in one platform, low latency, all those things we hosted in the Neysa cloud, and we were able to get them as a part of our output. So today, 100% of our workloads are running on Neysa networks when it comes to all the inferencing, all the speech to text, anything to do with AI. Neysa is our go-to cloud provider.
Awesome. I love the insights that you shared, and I think you made it really, really easy and simple for anyone to understand. I think if I put it in a summary or in a nutshell, is you've ensured that you've got complete control over all the components and parts so that you can actually keep on shape shifting it the way the customer's requirement really changes.
Yes, and the best
And
part is we have priority customer support. We have Sharad sir.
always,
Yes,
as it with Nisa, that's the one thing that you can rest assured is that you
yes,
will always have priority customer support, and it starts from our CEO downwards,
yes,
frankly.
100%.
Awesome. So you built a super powerful, scalable engine in a very niche, complex industry vertical, which has huge scale. You taught your full solution to be able to do certain things in terms of listening, understanding. I'm sure you're already looking towards the future, as in what's the next frontier look like for Grey Labs? And in this, if you could kind of touch upon what do you think you're trying to focus on solving next? What's in the roadmap of probably investment? What areas you're going to invest in? I would love to hear. And I think you've also taken a very different perspective on building this, right?
Yes.
Um, Most startups would choose to start building in Bangalore. Okay, you chose to build out of Mumbai.
Right.
As in, what has that been? As in, how did you make those choices? And if, I would love to even get that perspective as you talk about what's the future looking like.
So, see, we started with post-call speech analytics, which means after the call has ended, how do we analyze the call and give you the output? That's how we started as an entry hero product.
Right.
Now we are also into real-time agent assistance, which means, let's say I am a customer, I am a telecaller, you are the customer, we are on call with each other. I am from ABC Bank and I call you and say, Sujit, here is a credit card for you with unlimited lounge access and all these fancy benefits of reward points. Your instant reaction would be, I already have a better card. Now, as an
Correct.
agent, I am trained on all these credit cards of my bank. But then you have a credit card of some other bank, and there are dozens of credit cards now. There are co-branded credit cards, there are fintechs, right? A bunch of such providers. I, as a 12th pass agent, not so educated, not so tech savvy, not so, it cannot be expected of me to be aware of every single feature of every single credit card. But
True.
imagine the software which is listening to our conversation. It listens that Aman pitched this card, but Sujit has this card, but it knows that one feature where my card is better than yours, with the card which I'm pitching to you is better than yours. Imagine it says, Ki Aman, please ask about movie tickets. We have a 1+1 movie ticket via some company which is not offered in Sujit's card. Imagine it tells me as a pop-up in real time, and I can tell you, Sujit, we have this, Book My Show 1+1 movie vouchers in our card. Are you a movie buff? Do you watch movies? Do you like watching movies? I'll catch you spot on at exact
Awesome.
one feature that will directly boost conversion. So this product we have recently launched and we are implementing it with a few customers, which is real-time
Awesome.
agent assist. And the third natural
Awesome.
extension is what we have launched in a big way, which are voice AI agents, which can talk to customers autonomously in real time. So 2 years back, the technology was not there where the technology was very basic. The voice assistants could understand some basic keywords and they did not sound human-like. They were very robotic. But we have
True.
launched the first of its kind, extremely human-like sounding voice AI agent, which can talk to you, which can understand your problem, which can pitch you products, which can negotiate with you, which can look up your details from the system and completely resolve the ticket or completely close the sale or completely collect EMI, pending EMI on the call itself. So the way I am seeing it is that in future the contact centers would kind of either not exist or they will be run without humans or with minimum human capacity. 70-80% of the capacity will be gone very soon, right? They will be repurposed
Awesome.
for other important activities, handling important edge cases. So that's the product we are building. It will require enormous amount of scalability because imagine 1,000 telecallers, all of them are on call, real-time assistance going on, or a voice AI agent which can talk to 1 lakh customers concurrently at scale. A loan offer being pitched instantly in real time to all these customers. So that's what we are building as the next frontier of technology. We have launched it on all Indian languages, Indian accent, Indian dialects, which is regional languages, regional dialects. A person from North India talking in South Indian accent, or vice versa, a person from southern states of India talking in Hindi. So we've combined all of that to build the most power-packed financial services focused solution.
Oh, super cool. As in, this is a great snapshot into what the future could look like. If you had to kind of give your take on what would then the role of AI along with a customer care center agent look like 5 years down the line? Is it going to be like a collaborator? You said in some cases it will completely replace,
Yes.
which can and humans can be moved to more higher value edge cases, etc. But in other cases, and I love the example that you gave me when you gave that credit card example, where a 12th pass out agent who's sitting behind that phone will not have the ability to learn and remember the features and comparisons against multiple cards, but AI can actually enable them
Yes.
to do that real time, which means that you are suddenly making that same agent way more productive and also a lot more confident when they're interacting with customers as compared to they probably losing their thread and saying, you know what, I can't do anything on this call, let me close this call. So what do you see the role of this customer care agent changing to tomorrow?
Yeah, I think they will handle more corner cases, the escalations, the problems which AI cannot handle, the problems where you have to talk to someone senior, look at the documents, maybe look at physical paperwork, and so on and so forth. So ultimately, all the standard set of queries where I want my account balance, I want my statement, I want my ledger balance, I want to open an account, why are you better than XYZ competitor? All those things, ultimately, we want to completely automate using voice AI. And the important queries which AI is not able to handle, those will go to the agent and they can handle it more productively. So the volume of tickets you can handle will remain the same, but the human capacity can dramatically go down, or with the same set of human capacity, you can scale 10 times more. And you don't have to worry about hiring humans, training them, people moving out, attrition, a bunch of those problems. So as a business head or as a call center head, you can have a more predictable and more scalable call center mechanism.
Awesome. Cool. Aman, this has been a fascinating look into the future, into the world of Grey Labs. But before we let you go, I have two questions. Okay, and I think this will be interesting nuggets of information for hundreds of aspiring founders and builders who are listening in. You have successfully navigated the difficult 0 to 1 journey twice now. Okay, what is that one piece of non-obvious advice you would give to someone trying to build a deep tech B2B company for the Indian market today?
I think spending time with customers rather than investors is the biggest learning that I've seen. Uh, I have founders who want to sell in the India financial services market. They reach out to me for advice and guidance. I tell them that stop talking to me and go and sit down with the bank, go and sit down with the insurance company executives. They will tell you much better advice than me. Don't go via middlemen. I am a middleman in this case if you are coming and talking to me because I am not the bank. I am building
True.
for banks and financial institutions, but I am not the end buyer of your product. Bypass everything, cut down all the layers, go and sit with your customer, and a lot of new insights, a lot of new things will come up. Observe how they are how they are doing things today. So my team has an activity, a mandatory activity to visit call centers every now and then. We have to sit with telecallers, and then I say team, I don't mean the product manager, I mean the leadership team, the founders. Every single one of us have to sit in the call center of a bank with an agent for at least a day every single month to be able to understand, empathize how they are working, how is the customer who is frustrated, who is calling the bank or the insurance company or a stockbroking company, how is the agent handling the query, where are they struggling. So a lot of insights come up just by doing these conversations and sitting and observing people rather than reading reports and talking to investors, talking to other people. Doesn't help. Just focus on the customer and you can build a lot better product and win the market very easily rather than wasting time on other activities. And in fact, this includes not worrying about Forbes 30 under 30, Fortune 30 under 30, not worrying about awards, recognitions. In my life, I have never applied for any award, any recognition. We have been given some awards and recognition, but we never applied. We never fill any application form. Our customers are our biggest award, like collecting Pokemon badges. That's how we collect customer logos.
Awesome. I love that analogy.
Yes.
And the second one, Aman, is there a secret that folks who are building, especially tech businesses, are missing out on when they choose Bangalore or any other location over Bombay?
See, so both cities have their pros and cons. I believe my hypothesis is less on the city side. My premise is more on to build for an enterprise, you need to be close to them. When I say close, I mean physically close to their office location. It helps a lot. So we are in Mumbai. Our customers are in BKC, which is Bandra Kurla Complex, and Lower Parel area. That's where most of the financial activity of the country happens. We have clients in NCR, DLF, Cyber City. We have clients in Bangalore, HSR Layout, Kormangla, Indranagar areas. But the large chunk of our customer base sits out of BKC and Lower Parel in Mumbai. So that is why we as the leadership team have to be close to our customers. It helps. I mean, honestly, we tell our customers that by the time a Bangalore startup catches their flight or reaches airport, we will be at your office. You call us at 3 o'clock in the night, we'll be there at 3:30. And it gives a lot of comfort because we are not in the mass
It does.
market business. We are not selling to mid-market SMBs or a B2C product. We have a base of 300 to 500 target enterprises in our industry, and that's what we need to take care of. We need to give them the most luxurious, most high-end treatment because they are opening up their wallets with crores of rupees. Somebody spending that kind of
Correct.
money expects the founder to show up when they want some assistance, and I make sure that I'm the customer support head of the company. So I think that's the difference. But yes, we find value in building technical teams and hiring talent in Bangalore. There is extremely high quality talent in the city in terms of technology, product. We of course have sales teams in Bangalore. We have sales teams in Gurgaon, but we have seen very high quality talent in both these cities, Gurgaon, which is NCR, and Bangalore area. So a combination helps, but the principle is very simple: be close to your customer. It helps a lot
Customer.
in making sure that your business is successful in the long run.
So, Aman, when you're talking about all the things that you are focusing on building with your team, I'm sure that requires a lot of investments. As in, how are you thinking in terms of resourcing all of these investments to be able to get to where you really want Grey Labs to be, especially while focusing on solving the customer problems?
So, Sujit, of course, capital helps a lot in building the right quality of team, right quality of talent within the company, right? So, last year we raised our seed round from Z47, $1.6 million, roughly 13.5 crore rupees. We closed recently our Series A round of 85 crore rupees, which is $10 million, led by Elevation Capital and with participation from our existing investors at G47. So this capital will help us build the right kind of technology teams, build the right kind of product teams, ensure that we have local offices in NCR, in Bangalore, in Chennai, where our customers are there. We are already, of course, in Mumbai. That's our headquarters. That's our main base. So making sure that we are closer to our customers in all of these locations. And yes, I feel that a lot of M&A activities, mergers and acquisitions will start happening in the AI space very soon. So this capital helps us acquire smaller teams, smaller startups, which are much more nimble, much more agile, and they have built some fantastic product which we can integrate into our core product and accelerate our go-to-market.
That's awesome news, Aman, and congratulations. And I think it's great, especially with the kind of builder mindset that you have. And I think, yes, the AI ecosystem is really, really thriving at this point in time, and there will be a lot of opportunities to kind of find synergies and look at M&A opportunities where there can be more value unlocked for both the builders as well as for the consumers, which is
Right.
customers in this market. So look forward to what's next for Grey Labs and you as a team. All the best. Thanks a ton, Aman. It's been such a pleasure. You actually proven that the most valuable data isn't in actually spreadsheets. It's in the conversations we have every day. It's been a privilege to have you with me on this particular episode of AI's Happy Hour. Um, I would love to look forward to another follow-up conversation as we build the next phase of Grey Labs and where you take the business.
Thank you, Sujit. Really enjoyed the conversation and hoping for more conversations and a deeper partnership with Neysa Networks.
Look forward to it too.
Thank you.
To learn more about how GreyLabs is surfacing insights from customer conversations, you can visit GreyLabs.AI, and to discover the AI native cloud platform that helps innovators like Aman build for scale, check out Neysa.ai. Don't forget to subscribe to AI's Happy Hour podcast for more conversations with the people shaping our future. Until next time.